I wanted to talk to everyone a little bit about the different services that we've had. So Nathaniel had asked me to come and talk about some that are specific to self-advocates in general, but I thought this would be a really good opportunity to talk a little bit more about our person-centered services, right? Which are really focusing on making sure that everyone has a voice, that those voices are being heard, that we can help individuals identify their hopes and dreams, and then, of course, help them achieve the hopes and dreams that they have. So I actually have a little slideshow that I put together. Nathaniel, do you mind if I share my screen and share that with
Yes,
everybody?
I think I have everyone. Yep, you're good to go. You should be. Let
Okay,
me know if you
perfect.
have any trouble, because I know
Okay.
that Nancy and I were sharing the screen. So let me see if you can share it.
You might have to take me off host to make her co-host. I don't know. See if it works.
I think I can do it. All right, can you guys see?
Yep,
Yep.
there we go.
Okay, here we go. All right. So, focusing on some of the new person-centered programming and supports that we have. Right now, we have a person-centered planning process. We have a skills inventory. We have one-on-one skills tutoring, and then we also have our newly piloted skills training academy. So I'm going to get into more details about every single one of those services. But first, I'm just going to introduce really the concept of what is a full life. So, a full life is one that is meaningful, one that includes opportunities to participate in community, to make choices, to form relationships, and to share the rights and responsibilities of community membership. A full life is based on universal human aspirations of health and safety, having a place to call home, having caring friendships, engaging in fulfilling work, and experiencing the opportunity to pursue personal hopes and dreams. So with our person-centered services, we work with an organization out of Illinois called the Center for Independent Futures. And so we really focus on what they have created that is the My Full Life model. So again, if you guys look at this chart to the right, we have all of these different circles, and then we have an individual in that circle, right? And the individual in that circle is at the center of the circle, meaning that we want to focus on what they want, their hopes and dreams, their aspirations, and of course, always listening to their voice. So in the middle, it's identified that that individual is going to share their hopes and dreams, and then also identify some obstacles and also assets. So obstacles that could be getting in the way of achieving those hopes and dreams, and identifying assets that could help them achieve and reach those hopes and dreams. As you go to the outer colored circles, you'll see that there are different words in the circles. So one is my place, connections, fun and talent, wellness, getting around, community engagement, earning my way, and lifelong learning. So it's important to note that all of these circles are actually overlapping. So really meaning that it's hard to have a full life without one affecting the other. So for example, it's really hard to have a full life of wellness if you're unable to get around, right? So unless you're able to get to the doctor's appointments or receive treatments that you might get. So everything is really attached and overlapping when it comes to the full life model. So this just kind of highlights our partnership that we have with the Center for Independent Futures, again, who are the people who have created the My Full Life model. We use it and implement it in our services. So we are the preferred provider for the state of Wisconsin. And we also have up to 150 professional lessons that we pair with a lot of our person-centered planning services. All right, so the first one that we're going to talk about is person-centered planning. So person-centered planning means that there is a individual who would like to create a plan around them, right? And that plan can be anything, whether they are transitioning out of high school, whether they want to transition into their own home, whether maybe caregivers or guardians have identified that they might not be around their loved one for that much longer, or maybe just the reality that that's sometimes what happens, or always what happens in life. So creating a plan to prepare to have their loved one achieve their hopes and dreams and also be able to live a successful and happy life, right? So lots of different reasons and different stages in life that someone might want a person-centered plan. So essentially what this means is that a person would like to have a person-centered plan, and that individual creates a team around them. And that team can consist of friends, family members, paid support members, people in the community that they're close with, and a DSAW certified coach leads the team through 5 different meetings, essentially. So the meetings are about 2 hours once a month. Oops, sorry about that. They're about 2 hours once a month. And the first meeting after we do the team selection and of course the introduction with the individual, we go over hopes and dreams. The second meeting, we go over obstacles and assets. The third meeting, we go over goal setting. And the fourth meeting, we go over action plans. And then the final is review and revise. So again, really the point and premise of these meetings is to identify hopes and dreams, help set a plan into place, create specific action plans so an individual can feel supported. And again, really just identifying a support network around that individual. So after the DSAW certified coach does their part in essentially training the team will then continue on to support the individual throughout their life. And the individual's team might change and alter throughout time, which is absolutely okay and natural. But again, the core members of that team are equipped with the information provided, the set plan that we had in place, and then also just the tools to continue on the work that they were taught. All right, the next one that we have is a skills inventory report. So this is kind of like a snapshot of where an individual is. So let's say somebody would like to learn a little bit more about money skills or banking or getting involved in the community. This is a way that an individual can identify where they're at and maybe some ways or skills that they would like to improve on. With this report, there's interviews. Again, if you see from this image on here, it covers all of the different circles. So my place, lifelong learning, connections, fun and talent, wellness. And after they fill out the questionnaire, there's then some interview process, and then a DSAW certified skills inventory coach will write a report. And this report will have recommendations of a way that maybe they could use skill development in certain areas. And it's an actual tangible report that the individual can take and either seek services through DSAW or of course anywhere else that they'd like to do services. So again, maybe just like a starting point, if someone's like, I want to skill build, but I'm just not really quite sure where to start, this would be a starting point. So we also then have one-on-one skills tutoring. So again, this would be a really good way to follow up the skills inventory, or if there was an individual who already knew that they had a skill that they wanted to work on, this would be a good option for them as well. The nice thing about this is it can be done virtually or it can be done in person, and it's working directly with a DSAW support staff. You're going to have a computer login to a portal that you will be able to set goals, track the progress, and work on lesson plans that are supported by other work that you're doing. So there's going to be a lesson plan in there. There'll be different like task tracking to make sure that you're able to learn and really soak in the knowledge that you're learning together. And then also some really hands-on activities that are partnered with the one-on-one skills tutoring. DSAW then has also created and piloted now our Skills Training Academy. So outside of the one-on-one tutoring, which again is very geared to that individual and specifically what they're looking for, we also have started a class. So the Skills Training Academy is a class where right now we have about 9 individuals who attend on Mondays and Wednesdays. And we currently are in session 1. So in session 1, we are working on lifelong learning, time management, personal growth and learning, technology and cell phone use, connections, communicating and listening, and fun and talents. But as you see on the sheet, we also have a session 2, session 3, and session 4. So session 2 focuses on wellness, session 3 focuses on my place, and session 4 focuses on community engagement and then getting around. So hopes are that DSAW will eventually be able to offer all 4 sessions at once. But again, as we're piloting this, right now we currently just have our session 1 going on, which again is really successful. Even though it's a class approach, it still is person-centered in the sense that everybody in this class has their own login, their own goals that they track. They do work at their own pace, even though we're working in a group setting, and then have an opportunity to be able to work on one-on-one supports outside of the Skills Training Academy if they need that extra support or extra learning for that piece. And then this is just recently what DSAW has done with our person-centered achievement. So again, we are growing these services and we're hoping to be able to offer and reach a lot more individuals. So right now we have, for our skills inventory coaches, we have 1 fully certified staff and 2 staff in training. For our person-centered planning coaches, we have 2 certified and 2 in training. We have a certified group admin. We have a master coach that can essentially help train staff to continue to do this work. And then as far as our participants that are served, we have 6 completed the person-centered planning process and 2 who are currently doing it. For our skills inventory, we have 5 completed and 2 in the process. And then for our skills training academy participants, we have 11 individuals who are currently enrolled. And then our one-on-one person-centered one-on-one person-centered tutoring, we have 6 individuals who are receiving those services, either virtual or in person. And then finally, I just wanted to highlight my friend Tim here. So Tim is an example of someone who has gone through our person-centered planning process and is now receiving one-on-one tutoring. Tim is here in the hat right there on the left. So he is 28 years old and he's been working in the horticultural department at the Milwaukee County Zoo for nearly 5 years. He lives in his own apartment and loves gardening, animals, and playing basketball. Tim has created a plan with DSAW's person-centered planning process, and he's now working with myself actually weekly to accomplish the goals he sets with his team. They utilize the Mindful Life platform to track skill progress, and some of his goals include owning a dog, traveling to Graceland in Memphis, and moving to a bigger apartment. So that is all I had for my slides. I will open it up if anybody has any questions. I know that was kind of a lot of information on our person-centered services. So I'm open to either looking in the chat and seeing if anybody had anything in there or if anybody just wanted to ask.
I think it's Ramsey that has a question.
And thank you really for that wonderful presentation. I just had a question about him. That that guy sounds like a real neat guy. And I was wondering if any of the people you work with might be interested in joining people first group because we have self-advocate leaders like on Tuesdays, Mondays, and Thursdays, and we would love to get see some more involved. So thanks for what you do.
Ramsey, thank you for your, well, first off, you are absolutely welcome for the presentation. And I think if I'm hearing you correctly, you were asking if anyone from People First is actually utilizing our services right now. Is that right?
So I was gonna say, see if any of you, the people you work with might be interested in getting involved in People First, because we would love to have them.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. Well, I would love to have more information about how I could help bridge DSAW participants and people first so that we can do that. We do have currently one of our self advocates uh, who is a DSAW participant is co-teaching right now for the Safe and Free series. So we do have an individual who does do that. And then I don't really know if anyone else is involved in People's First. So actually, I would love to get a little bit more information so that we could share that.
Yeah, I, I don't mean to overstep, but I was wondering if Nathaniel, you or Nancy could send me the newsletter, because the weekly newsletter about what's going on with People First, because I think a lot of the people would like on Monday night meetups. Yeah.
I can, we have a, we use MailChimp, so it might go to your spam.
Mhm.
But we send out a weekly thing at the beginning of each week that says what's going on this week, each week. And then there's other reminder emails that go out as well. But
Yeah.
each week there's a speaker series and then 2 meetups. And then once a month there's a movie night, and people just hang out and chat usually afterwards about the movie and how it relates to some of the advocacy and things that people get out of People First. So
Yeah,
I can,
absolutely.
I'll add you.
I would
And
love
the
that. And thank
Nancy,
you.
Nancy, add her to the chapter forum too.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
that's
No,
probably, that's where you'll get some of the, Lily, I'm an advisor for the People First in Ozaki.
Okay.
And hopefully the advisors show up for that one, that you can get, blast emails out faster too.
No, that's wonderful. And honestly, just kind of thinking about it, it popped in my head that if you guys have weekly newsletters of just ongoings and I'm sure, information sharing, we would love to. I can have my instructors in the Skills Training Academy class weekly bring that up and share screen and they can go over it with all the participants in the class. That would actually be great. And we can just information share People First, different opportunities and offerings that you guys have going on. So absolutely.
That sounds great. Yeah. And
How do
our
we
Zoom,
become,
go on, sorry.
how do we become part of your academy? Because I would be interested in joining.
Yeah, absolutely. So normally how that works is we have an individual or a consultant who reaches out to DSAW because we are a service provider and then let us know of the interest of an individual. We do an intake and then we try to help that individual either join the class or participate in other services that we have. So I can go ahead and put my email in the chat, and then if anybody from this room wanted to directly do that, I could help bridge that process right away as well.
Write it down.
My computer just quit. I'm so sorry.
Down syndrome.
Can you
You're gonna have to do.
can you have Billy's email from the chat for me?
Goodwill, right? And you do.
I used to do Goodwill.
So I think that's probably.
Ramsey, I can just send you an email with Lily's email address if that would be helpful.
Be at.
That'd be great.
And you don't talk to him without your mom.
I know.
Also,
I know I was going to tell my mom when I get in the car today.
if you can too.
So I'm with
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And I also just wanted to share as well, I put in the chat DSAW's website. So that's really helpful. Again, I shared some of our person-centered services, but we also have so many different opportunities for self-advocates. Again, some of them include our one-on-one respite. We also have group respite. So we have like Saturday fun days. and different ways that we can have individuals get together, meet new people in the community. So again, anything that you're interested in, I gave Nancy my email in the chat, and hopefully she can help connect some people if they were looking for different kinds of services. But we also offer a DSAW Connects series, and that's our virtual classes. We have an abundance of different virtual classes. We have a music and movies class, exploring entertainment. We have 3 different workout classes. We have a current event news class, and then also just like a life skills and laughter fun class. We have a creative corner. So again, we have a lot of different opportunities. So I did share DSAW's website in there, and you can go ahead and just look at program offerings, and all of the other different offerings that we have are under there as well. So again, if anybody was interested, you could take a look at that and then just email me and let me know what you were interested in, and I can hopefully help connect the dots and set someone up for services if that's what they wish.
Does anyone else have any more questions for Lily?
What age group, what ages do you serve?
Yeah, so we serve from birth until on, right? So we have all different services. So under 18, we have adult services. We also have a group of individuals that we have that are actually over the age of 55. So we serve all individuals again from birth on, no cap.
So you're a provider then probably with like the children's long-term support waiver as well as like the family care, different
Yes.
MCOs and then
Mhm.
Iris. So you're
Yes,
set.
absolutely. Yep.
Cool. Thank you.
Mhm.
And Lily, I'm so sorry. I might have missed it. Where is your office out of? Are you out of Milwaukee or Madison or?
Yeah, that's a great question. Oh, go ahead.
I'm in Hudson, so I'm just trying to make sure that Hudson learns about these wonderful, wonderful services you have.
Well, thank you. And that's a really good question. So actually, we are in the Milwaukee area. Our office is located in West Dallas. We do have other programs that we want to offer services for. So for example, because our Milwaukee headquarters is in West Dallas, we try to have different locations that we partner with so we can offer different classes on different sides of town. I think, as we all know, transportation can be an issue, so we want to try to have different opportunities for people. So we currently have also another class that's called Wellness 360, and we partner with the JCC, which is the Jewish Community Center, and that's in Whitefish Bay. And so that one specifically is a few different opportunities within a 5-hour period that you're working out. You're also doing some classroom instruction on just like healthy choices and overall wellness, mind, body, and spirit. And then lunch and the full day with that at the Jewish Community Center. So right now, currently, these services are in the Milwaukee area on the north side and then the west side. We do have our virtual classes, of course, that we can serve everyone. And as I had mentioned earlier, we do have other chapters. So DSAW has chapters throughout Wisconsin. One of them is the Fox Cities Appleton area. So we have different services out there. And then we actually are just right now really exciting stuff, expanding and trying to start more in-person services in the Madison area as well. But to fully answer your question, right now, currently, for our in-person offerings like this, it's mostly the Milwaukee area right now.
Lily,
Okay.
as outreach advocates,
Mhm.
what can we do to promote your services, to make sure they're in plain language,
Mhm.
to make sure that each person who needs that type of service
Mhm.
like to get a hold of you or to make sure that they understand that service before they even call you, or to question you on like, what is the mission? What is the vision?
Mhm.
I mean, because I think that when a company asks, I mean, like we have all of these services like person center. Well, you might have someone that comes to you and what is person center? But as like outreach advocates, we could probably come together and help that person understand what the website is, what the services you provide, even before you have that first conversation with them, so they understand what is expected of that, of your organization, and what is expected of them.
Yeah, Nathaniel, thank you. That's really wonderful. And, I'm thinking just on you posing that question that it would be helpful for us that maybe following this meeting today, if you, Nathaniel, or anybody else in this meeting has feedback of the information that was presented, right? Is there anything that maybe was a little unclear or confusing, or like you had mentioned, Nathaniel, like would there be more clear language that could be used instead upon delivery? So I would be really interested in to hear from you, and then anybody else on this meeting as well who would like to share some things that maybe seemed a little bit unclear or confusing, so that we can make sure that everybody is aware of the services that we provide, person-centered, meaning that it's about that individual, right? And being able to serve. And I would say again, to be able to advocate for it, I would very much then recommend that everyone gives DSAW a try, right? And even with that, I want to share too with our DSAW Connects classes, if anybody ever wanted to try it out to see if it was something that they would want to do, again, contacting me, I could absolutely arrange something where somebody could join and see if it was something that they would want to be a part of. Or even Nathaniel, if you would like to be a part of some of those classes and just observe, and you could maybe give recommendations, or you say like, hey, this was a really
That's
good
fun.
service that I think could benefit people, I would absolutely love to invite
I
that and
was,
partner.
I think like after this meeting, I'll send you a separate email,
Mhm,
my thoughts of how I can incorporate
mhm.
what I could bring to DSAW because of my, and and go on. I don't want to talk about like with the living well stuff right now. I think that's out of the question right now, but just with like working with Joel, the new working with Joel and working with the participant that we have in the living well, I just think there's a lot we could do together. But anyway, is there anything else? Does anyone have any more questions that you could ask Lily right now?
Hey, no, I'm sorry to be too many.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can we somehow get a copy of that PowerPoint, and then I'll tell you who I send it out to and stuff, so you can have it for your records. But if I could get a copy of that PowerPoint, that'd be great.
Yes, and I will send it out to you by tomorrow. I mean, whenever Lily gets it to me, I'll have it sent out next business day. Okay. So whenever Lily
Okay.
sends the PowerPoint out to me, I will send it out like next business day. So you're able to look at it and be able to have any suggestions on the PowerPoint, or if you want to send it to your constituents, go ahead. and I will send the PowerPoint in one email to all the to the people first members who are on here today. And if you want to send it to your community, go ahead, because I think this is a very important topic about person-centered planning, the services that they have. And if you have any more questions after this meeting with Lily, I think she'll be happy to answer them for you. And I'm not trying to speak on her behalf right now. But
no, absolutely. Thank you, Nathaniel. And, something I just thought about as well as you were talking is that, after following this meeting, you're going to be thinking of some ways that you will be able to partner more with DSAW and help spread the word to self-advocates. I think also maybe talking with Sydney Bentley would be a good idea prior to all of this. She's actually receiving person-centered services as well, and she might be a good resource to be able to either give you some feedback or just some overall thoughts of how we can continue working together.
yes, and I will reach out to her. I mean, she's a very busy woman. I mean, she's extremely busy. I will try to leave her a message, and whenever she gets back to me, that's just let her go at it.
Thanks,
I mean, I'm just
Nathaniel.
being honest with you about that one. But that's a very good suggestion, and I'll move forward with that suggestion. But this PowerPoint was very good. I do have some thoughts on that PowerPoint, but I will write those thoughts like after, in the next week, just because I have to read it and study it because it's so well done. Honestly, it was so well done. And I'm just very thankful that you've put the energy into that PowerPoint, so everybody gets to see what DSAW is all about. And I do think that Down syndrome as a whole is a very complex disability. And I think it starts out with you, and it starts out with people who understand that disability. Because even though I had friends, and I had a friend that passed away when he turned 21. And and then I said to myself, well, I wanted to know more about that disability, because there's some people that live until 50, some people that, so it's a right, so I thank you for coming today. Thank you for a wonderful presentation today. Remember, everyone, that Julie has a meetups on Monday and Thursdays, is it, Nancy? I forget sometimes.
Yeah,
Is it
Mondays and Thursdays.
Yeah,
Mondays and Thursdays? Yep.
Mondays at 4:30 from 4:30 to 5:30, and Tuesdays from 6:30 to
Yep.
6 to 7 p.m.
And
Thursdays 6 to 7. Could I ask one more question before we go?
yep, go ahead.
So I saw in your PowerPoint, so it looked like, so you mentioned that people could maybe get, say the planning support, and then they wouldn't necessarily have to stay with DSAW for the rest of the support. So that would probably make it so that people really could, maybe depending on where they are in the state. I mean, if they, can you do the planning virtually?
Absolutely. Yes.
So then, or somebody with like Iris, and maybe they've got a direct care worker that they're already working with, that they're comfortable with, but that would give guidance to that worker on how to provide support in certain areas. Is that
100%. Yes. So actually, all of our person-centered planning meetings thus far have been virtual because of the pandemic happening. But we also found that when we started it that way, it kind of just made sense. The meetings are a bit of a commitment in the sense that it's they're once a month for 2 hours, and we have to coordinate with a lot of different schedules. Normally, an individual has about 7 to 10 people on their team. So being able to do it virtually has just made it a little bit more convenient and doable for everybody who would like to be a part of it. But also that is the beautiful thing about it, right? Is that with this service in particular and our skills inventory, both of those, once you get the service complete, you can take all of that information because in the planning meetings, we do work together, right? So we set a plan, we do a lot of past, present, and future goals and realities. We make very thorough lists and documentation of hopes and dreams, etc. So all of those materials are that person's to take and carry with them, whether they want to go do services elsewhere or if they're living in a different state, absolutely. So there's lots of different options. And Nathaniel as well, after you're taking a look at the PowerPoint and you have suggestions, I would also be happy to either maybe edit and revise some things that you have suggestions or comments on. Maybe, of course, create a slide of like how to start services, because I know that was not on there. Or even I'd be happy to look into creating some kind of brochure that maybe you could help pass out. So again, I'm really happy to hear some feedback that you might have, because I'd be happy to try to figure out whatever we can do on our end to make the information more accessible as well.
Yes, I think that's the key, not for just your organization, but for like all organizations. So like maybe someone's not, I don't want to say educated enough, but they're like, what's that word? And what's that? And then they get sidetracked because, well, I'm not going to read the next line because this company is not for me. This company is not aiming towards my beliefs. So I'm just trying to make sure that everyone has a voice. And right now, because I'm with the ARC, the national organization, the ARC.
Mhm.
Now, last spring, they the board, the executive board there, the national board there, did say we could have it at a 7th grade reading level. Okay, but for your information, we can still make it like a 3rd to 4th grade reading level. That's our choice. But if you
Yeah.
want to know the scope of, of the reading level of the, I mean, that's near there per se, but when I'm going to like national meetings, it seems like they up the reading level to a 7th grade reading level. But like right down here, per se, it's probably, we could probably do it at like a 3rd or 4th grade reading level and we'll be fine with it. And,
Absolutely. I'd be happy to adjust to whatever you think would serve best.
okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, thank you very much, Lily, for coming today.
Sorry. Jane
Oh, go ahead.
left a message just saying that thank you, Lily. I'll reach out to you soon. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. If you don't have any more questions for Lily, we will let her go. And thanks again for coming, and we'll be in touch.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for the opportunity. It was a pleasure meeting everybody.
Very nice to meet you as well. Thank you.
Yeah. Have a great day.
You as well.